South Africans are paying more for fuel at the pumps from today. The Department of Mineral Resources and Energy announced that the retail price for both 95 and 93 petrol will increase by R1.71 per litre at midnight. Meanwhile, those who are in the transport industry, like drivers in the e-hailing system, say business is getting more expensive. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is in Centurion and joins us now. Nqobile, very good morning to you. People are not pleased. I mean, this will have a big impact on many aspects of life. What are you finding?
Well, definitely. I mean, when we spoke to the e-hailing system earlier on, they were explaining how this has a compounded effect, saying that at home and in the business it's just becoming more difficult. They're already experiencing difficult times, especially post-COVID. But also some of those that are in the same industry as Santaco, which is also in itself going to be affected. And I want to bring in Santaco to speak to us, because, I mean, anyone who's using a taxi, I think the first question they'd like to know is that, will they be paying more this month now for taxi fares?
Thank you very much. Look, I think first off we must acknowledge that we haven't had increases in a while, though in some parts of the country, for instance with KwaZulu-Natal, just very recently they introduced price hikes. We don't at this point have an authority to confirm if there will be an increase or not, because you would know obviously this was just recently announced. But discussions are taking place, obviously, because the reality of the matter is the prices that commuters are paying currently are not necessarily sustaining us as an industry to full prim, So those are some of the realities that we're looking into. There is a possibility that most certainly in some aspects you'll start hearing of increases. Those will be, introduced and publicized as time goes. But we can confirm that we're looking into it now in light of this very high hike that's come about.
And how does this affect your industry per se? Because, I mean, we understand that there's a lot that happens. I mean, you've got to take care of the car and so on. How does this affect the industry with the petrol hike?
Look, and the reality of the matter is that it's not even just with this hike. The hike is only making matters worse. As matters stand now, we're not making ends meet. You would know that there's a high number of taxis that are being repossessed on a daily basis because operators are not meeting their monthly demands in terms of paying back to the financiers who are financing these vehicles. So now with this hike, it means you have to look at fuel prices, but you also have to make sure that your car is sustained. It needs to be checked out, but you also have to make sure that you take something home. So it's just worsening the situation for us. It's not like it's only starting now that we're feeling it. We've been feeling it. And that's why I'm saying to you, in as much as we understand that ordinary South Africans cannot afford to pay more than 10% of the overall household income, the reality of the matter is that unfortunately the industry also in some way will have to relook and find ways that we can maybe try and increase, because we're not making ends meet. I can tell you that much. It's really bad.
And I can imagine you probably have had meetings with some of the owners, and already we are coming from a very hard time with lockdown, and a lot of people have lost jobs as well because of what had happened, and they're already making less. What are they telling you?
They're very frustrated. They are asking us, obviously, as leadership, where are you with the talks of subsidization? The busing industry, as we speak now, in and as much as they'll most likely feel the burn as well with rail as well, it's not going to be the same as us. Government, we've repeatedly been asking, when are you getting us subsidized as an industry? Because we need some support. If anything, don't subsidize the taxi industry, but subsidize the commuter, so that at least we get something that meets them halfway. So the operators are saying, speed up the process. We are frustrated and we are not making ends meet. The business is really, really struggling.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Rebecca Palashe, is the spokesperson for Santaco. And of course, like she's saying, it's a difficult time for commuters, but also for the owners as well. I mean, what she's highlighting there, that they're not making ends meet, in itself becomes a huge problem, because that will mean that the next commuter will have to pay more. But even in that, it's already difficult for everybody with the high cost of living.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nqobile Madlala, let's leave it there for now. Of course, getting an update and some reaction as the price of petrol and fuel is set to increase at midnight tonight.